talk about the Jurgen Klopp thing, because he went off it with a presenter, not for the first time, and it would appear, like I've previously pointed out, like he's just a salty little loser, and that he's only nice to people when he wins games. Like the way he spoke to this guy, talking about the shape he was in, and then calling it a dumb question, and for what people only
put his hand down as well.
So there was a little clip that we've seen the longer clip of where the guy's got the microphone and he pushes the microphone away. When you put your hand on someone in any way, a little TV presenter like that, it's just not good, is it? So what do we make of that, lads?
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful from Klopp, and I think it's something we've seen time and time again with him, that when he loses, when things don't go his way, he reacts in ways, and like no one wants their manager to just sort of, roll over and accept it when something goes badly, but like, don't treat journalists like that. Especially, it's one thing when you see Mourinho do it. We all know that Mourinho's like basically like a pantomime baddie. Do you know what I mean? We all expect it of him. Klopp is kind of held up as being this like figure of love of, he's like a dad to all those players. He's such a lovely guy. Oh, we're going to miss him in the Premier League. Yeah, we will miss him in the Premier League. He's been a fucking fantastic compared to Guardiola. He's done it on less budget. Style of football's brilliant. I love the football they play. I hate seeing him treat journalists like that, and I hate the idea that he gets away with it.
He's a bully, mate, and let's have it right. I pointed out earlier this season, and obviously I didn't articulate it in the right way, but the man is a bully, and that sort of shit pisses me off, because I'm thinking, like, I remember, I'm going to bring up Bobby Robson, right? Sorry, man. I remember Bobby Robson pulling Arsene Wenger up on this, and he went, he said to Arsene Wenger, and Arsene was, the guy up there with Fergie, and he went, you've got to understand, you will lose games. Yeah. You have to learn how to do it with a bit of class and a bit of dignity, and mouthing off to these innocent presenters and, people just asking the questions. You look like a fucking dick. And Pep's done it as well. I've seen Pep be an arsehole to them as well. Yeah. But with Klopp, and I know this from personal experience, when you're a big bloke, you can be more intimidating than you mean to be. And I've done that before. People are like, oh, fuck me, I've overdone that. I didn't mean it like that. And he needs to understand, like, he's 6 foot odd and he's bearing down on these guys. And, you've seen him with referees where he screams in their face. And I understand for Liverpool fans, he's transformed your club. But if you can't see at this point as a Liverpool fan that man can be an absolute wanker, you're deliberately shutting, you're ignoring it.
You know what?
It's right there in front of you.
I'm glad you lot are saying this, because again, he's been praised and he's been loved, and I think at certain times he's almost got, you see how Fergie could do whatever he wants. Yeah, there was a time when Fergie could say stuff to the referee and we'll get the decision probably. Like he was texting them. There's a whole article. He was texting them, looking after them. First name basis with with 10 referees, man. He was mates with Fergie. I think what Jurgen had this thing where, remember there was one time he complained about Man United getting a lot of penalties, and those penalties dried up. Even the extra time that he gets, and the only thing that he hasn't been able to fix has been that morning, that morning slot that they've been getting, and that's been unfair that they keep getting these 12 o'clock fixtures. But I remember the guy tried to have a laugh and a joke about it, because why not? Yeah. He was on him. Is that you think it's funny?
No, it's the aggression though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not, you can disagree with anyone. Yeah. But like Bobby Robson said about Wenger, it's the way you're talking to them, especially when you're a big imposing character. And he does it in a way of like, he's not saying it, but he's like, I want to fucking belt you right now.
It's not it's no levity.
It's disrespectful, mate.
It's no levity.
It's also, you've got to remember, like the reason those journalists are asking those questions, they're doing it for us as fans. They're voicing what we want to be asked. Like a good journalist will be asking coaches, managers,
and
questions.
He's stopping that.
Exactly.
Because if you keep being that aggressive, the journals aren't going to fucking voice what the people
Sometimes
want.
The journals can be pricks, though. Sometimes they do ask questions.
There's no point is anyone. In these examples, that's not what's happening.
No, it's not.
He is just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
And sometimes they may have a jovial little like, it's the early ones. Bloody hell, that's annoying for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not out for him. I feel like some journalists, when they're out for your job, when they're like, I'm going to get this piece so you look really stupid in the media. I don't think they've done that.
They don't even bother because they know Klopp is certified. And they know he's so loved. And I've got no problem with him being loved for the nice guy he can be and the job he has done. But it's when people blindly ignore what a dick he can be. Yeah. And I just think they need to call it out more.
I think out of all when it comes to the sorest losers in the game, he's up there. I think he could probably be number one because Jose Mourinho, compared to him, Jose gets a bad rap. compared to this, what this guy's doing. And when you see some of the stuff, even the thing when Arsenal, remember when you lot beat him, and then there was that whole thing with the pictures and stuff, and he just couldn't get over. When we played them, we defended. He had something to say. When you lot done the whole picture thing and everything like that, he was really upset.
But is he being aggressive to a person in a way where you're like, you're confrontational to what? Like, it's one thing being a miserable ratty bastard like Mourinho can be, and like the moaning and complaining, but with Klopp, it's another level of anything I've seen a manager do to a reporter before.
And he's had, don't you remember this? Didn't he have a little, like a back and forth or a little bit of a spat with one of the, was it Southampton manager or something? Wasn't there like ain't he had some touchline bust-ups and stuff? Because he's one of those guys that
he's had a touchline bust-up with Frank Lampard, big time.
Yeah, you go and do all of that stuff and then that, but you don't want to receive it back, mate. You can't go out with and show all this energy, mate. It's part of the course. Like, I know that I go around and I like take the piss when we win, yeah? I expect it. When we lose, I expect to see a group of people like, you're shit. But then with him, he can't manage it. Do you know
what, though? With this thing, like, do you not want a manager like that? Do you not want a manager to be so competitive that when you lose, they are so furious?
No, I don't want a manager to bring shame on the club. And unfortunately, as much as Liverpool fans will ignore it, act like it's not true, in that moment, you are one of the reasons, like, I like Eddie Howe in charge of Newcastle, as much as he may not be quite as abrasive as what he could be. I don't worry about him making us look like a bunch of idiots. I mean, I'm good enough to do that, but like, he holds himself together no matter what's going on.
Last act.
He's got that composure, whereas, and I get it, and unfortunately what Josh is saying, there's truth in it, is like the elite level managers
bastards
usually are bastards.
Yeah, they're not good losers. They're not good losers. They're not used to losing games. I mean, Matt, I've watched.
There's a line though, isn't there?
There is a line, and I just think it's about the narrative that comes with the specific manager. Like, Arteta's had plenty of things this season where he acts a prick in press conferences, but he does apologise. And also, like, Arteta's kind of known as being this chippy, annoying little guy who runs up and down the touchline too much. So it kind of like, what irks me with it is that Klopp is seen as the lovely guy. He's like everyone's dad. Let's stick his teeth on a plinth at the Premier League offices when he leaves. Do you know what I mean? Everyone loves him, and it's like, let's just remember that he's capable of this shit as well.
Do you know what?
When he's doing his little victory lap of the Premier League, when he's waving goodbye, we all go, "We love you, Klopp. Thank you so much for coming here, Klopp." Like, let's
remember being the worst loser we ever seen.
Yeah,
because at least with Fergie, it was all real. We all knew what he was, and there was no hiding, and there was no rewriting of history.
There's a bottle of wine.
Whereas with Klopp, it's like what you say, the way people talk about him and the way he really is are two different things for me. And look, we're all lucky that Klopp hardly ever loses, because imagine how much of a dickhead he would be if he was in a struggling side. Honestly.
He'd be. But then you know what? Again, quality manager. These lot got found out yesterday. I loved it. Brilliant.
Do you think they got found out? Do you think Liverpool got found out?
I think some players might have done. Like, I'm looking at that team and thinking, like, Gakpo, for example, like,
he's taking some sticks today, Gakpo. Carragher has said that he plays too slow for that team. I have to say, when they got him in, because I'd watched him a bit for the Netherlands, and they got him in, and I thought he doesn't fit that Liverpool thing of having forwards that just run and press and just constantly go. Like, he doesn't really fit that.
Liverpool haven't beaten in the top six. Have you seen their top six record? It's something that's not been spoken about. They're not winning these games. Draw, loss. And even in the did they lost to you?
I think they've won. They've won
beat us in the FA Cup.
They've won a couple of.
In the Premier League,
it's not as good as what you would.
Not in the Premier League.
I wonder if this is going to impact Liverpool's title challenge. And surely you must be questioning that.
Well, mate. That's exactly it. I mean, you know, so someone whose club is in a title race with Liverpool. I'm looking at this game, and I've got to be honest with you. I looked at them going to Old Trafford, and I was like, yeah, I think they'll probably be right at Old Trafford. I'm looking at this now, and I'm like, mate, they've got a game to play there. They've also got to play Spurs. That'll be at Anfield, but
it's the mental weakness.
It's the mental weakness, and the one thing with Liverpool all season, I've got to be honest with you. I've been on. I don't want to say I've been on a journey with Liverpool, but at the start of the season, I wasn't having it with Liverpool. At the start of the season, I was like, we watched the game, and I was like, it feels like it's open. And then I had a little read into their stats. I was like, they're conceding a lot less goals than the XG say they should. Their XG conceded is a lot higher than how many they're actually conceding, and so much of that is down to the fact they've got a fantastic goalkeeper, fantastic centre-backs who recover situations where typically they shouldn't.
Facts.
Until you're knackered. until you're shattered, until Alisson's not in goal, and until Van Dijk's starting to look a little bit tired,
and also against the Man United side, as I've said, which have great ball strikers,
ball strikers,
but no one will put them in a combined 11. That's what you got to remember.
This is like
for the game. No one's putting Man United players are not getting into people's combined 11.
Yeah, but they got quality. Like, please don't think this is me. I'm giving United their flowers. You deserve your flowers. And I think there's some interesting things to talk about in terms of your team, what could happen going forward. I thought McTominay was really good in that midfield, Mane, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of Liverpool, I'm looking at it for the next 10 games of the Premier League, and I'm like, because I know from the way Arsenal tried to win the title last season that if you spend a lot of time using the energy in the crowd, using last minute winners, letting games be a bit seesaw, it's so emotionally tiring.
I mean, no offense though, like they got 2 weeks off for the international break, then they got Brighton, Sheffield United, then United, which will be a difficult one, and then they got Palace and Fulham. They're all winnable games.
Josh, like, we're in the running. There's no easy games. I can give you a reason why every single one of those games could be difficult. Could be. I'm not saying it could be.
Is all season Liverpool last minute winner. You then do the 120 minutes or whatever it was, and you finally are the victim of the last minute winner. Good. Speaking from experience, Newcastle, this start this season quite strong. There was a few moments where when those last minute winners go in against you, I physically watched a psychological impact on my team from conceding those last minute winners.
Yep.
When you give as much energy as those players did and you come away with less than nothing, you feel humiliated, everyone's celebrating, and you're not going into the cup final, you're going for the quadruple, it's gone up in smoke. What I'm questioning is, and if there's anyone who can get them to bounce back, to be fair, as much as I've criticised them, it is Klopp, but it's going to be difficult, like.
Yes.
Really is.
And Josh, it's not 2 weeks off, it's 2 weeks of internationals where a lot of their players go and play international football. They travel. Like they have got no more rest than anyone else does right now. They've still got Europa League games to play. I know Atalanta aren't the most difficult team they could face. It's still a lot of work.
2 weeks off isn't good either, by the way.
No.
Because you want to get back into it and bounce back immediately.
In terms of what this does to the title race,
it could really benefit you, surely.
Well, it does, but then I think Liverpool are going to turn up at Old Trafford and want a bit of revenge.
They won't.
And now
they
won't want revenge now.
Jurgen will be well up for that game. You're talking about Jurgen.
You know what you've just done.
I'm ready.
You're a big fight fan, right? You've delivered a huge body shot.
Yes.
But now they're going to get back up.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to come for your head.
But
and that's what's exciting
Guess
about
Guess what? When they come for our head, we're at home, mate. So again, you watch out because we're waiting. That overhand right is coming.
I'm looking for it.
We might even go southpaw.